Let's do a couple of examples using the number line to subtract integers. And subtracting is kind of, I would say, probably the hardest one to grasp, subtracting integers, that is. The number line might be an easier way for you to understand it, so I'm going to give you some examples. Although I will say my preference is using the tiles like I showed in a previous video. Anyway, let's go ahead and go through some examples, and you can use the method that works best for you. I'm going to give you some examples. In this case, we have a positive 5 minus a positive 1. And I'll go ahead and put some tick marks here on this number line, and then we'll go ahead and mark it. So let's say we have, let's see, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. We'll do some negatives in here. Okay, so I have a range of numbers on my number line representing integers. Okay, so first what we're going to do is identify where the 5 is. Okay, here's our 5. Now, what we're doing is we're taking away a positive, and so when we're taking away, or generally, let me backtrack. When we're adding, say if we were adding 5 plus 1, we would move to the right, okay? Now, when we're taking away a positive number, we're going to move to the left, okay? So left. So 5 take away 1 means we're going to move over one place to the left, and that's going to give us a positive 4. Okay, let's do another example. So example number 2. Let's say we have negative 3, and I want to take away negative 1. Negative 3 take away negative 1. Let's first find where negative 3 is, and that's going to be over here. Now, we said earlier that when we're taking away, we're going to the left. But we're not taking away a positive number, we're taking away a negative number. And how you might want to read this is the opposite of negative 1. Well, the opposite of negative 1 is positive 1. And when I'm working with positives or adding, I'm moving to the right. So in this case, we're going to move to the right one place. Okay, and so our answer is going to be negative 2. Okay, negative 3, take away negative 1. And if, again, I'm just going to throw on some tiles here because I think this really helps you visualize it. Here we have negative 3 tiles. I'm going to take away negative 1. I'm left with negative 2. But another way, if you're just using the number line, you can say that this is also can be read as opposite of negative, which is going to equal a positive. Okay, the opposite of a negative is a positive. All right, let's try another example that you might see. Now, in both of these, 1 and 2, we had both numbers were the same sign. Okay, let's mix it up. Let's have a positive 4, and let's take away from that a negative 2. Positive 4, negative 2. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let me draw another number line because it's getting a little crowded here. Let's say we have, so just draw some lines here. All right, so we'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, so we've got our new number line. Let's identify positive 4. That's going to be over here. So this is kind of similar to that last problem where we're subtracting a negative. And if I have, if I have my tiles, my 4 tiles, I can't really take away 4 because I have, or 2 negatives because I don't have any negatives. So in this case, we added the two 0 pairs. And, oops, wrong one. And by doing that, we were then, we added into the mix some negative numbers that we could take away. And so our answer is actually going to be a 6. So that's one way with the tiles, but with the number line, think of this as the opposite of this sign. So the opposite of the negative is going to be a positive, and when we're dealing with a positive or adding, we're going to move to the right. So we want to go 2 to the right. And so our answer is going to be 6. And I'm going to do one more example with a number line. Let's say we have a negative 5 and I want to take away a positive 1. Negative 5, positive 1. And let me go ahead and draw another number line here. And I'll go negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, and so on. Okay, so again, I want to find negative 5. Okay, now do I go to the left or to the right? Well, here's the thing. I want to do the opposite of the positive. Now, opposite of positive is negative. So now that's going to be different from what I've done in the past. Instead, I want to go to the left. All right. So the opposite of the positive is the negative, and so I'm going to the left, and I'm going to get a negative 6. Negative 6. And again, if you wanted to think about the tiles, let's say I have 5 negatives. Okay, there's my 5 negatives. I want to take away a positive. I don't have a positive, so I add a 0 pair that brings in a positive into the mix. Now I can take away that positive, and what I have left over is 6 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So anyway, these are just some examples of using a number line. My preference, obviously, is the number tiles, but some of you might really get into the number line, and that might make more sense to you, so go with it. If you have more questions, we'll do some more examples in class.